Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Help I've Died and Been Reincarnated as a podcaster. I'm your host, Real Soviet Bear, and with me are four lovely co hosts King Carnival,
Hello.
Tia Call,
Howdy.
and Torbatypist.
I'm so full of personality, I count for two.
Exactly. So, this is also known as the Isekai Book Club, and it'll be a anime podcast where we talk about various isekai. And for our first episode, we're covering El Hazard, the Magnificent World. And before we start, a few disclaimers. So, all obnoxious notifications are disabled, so you can. I would be thankful if you didn't use commands, because I'm pretty sure they shouldn't work, but. Yeah, they won't be here, because we'll be uploading this to YouTube. Also, this will be full on spoiler, so if you did not want to get spoiled on El Hazard, the Magnificent World, an anime that is more than 20 years old, I suggest you don't listen to this.
It's like 23,
Everyone
24.
died. There's your spoiler.
Yeah, everybody dies at the end. It's a dying dream. Anyway, so what's El Hazard, the Magnificent World? It's a OVA, original video anime, released between May 1995 and January 1996. Has six episodes. The first and last episode run for about 40 minutes, and all the other episodes are around 20-25 minutes. Was written by Ryoya Tsukimura and directed by Hiroki Hayashi, who you may know because he worked on Tenchi Muyo, among other things. And as far as other additional things in this franchise go, there was a retelling anime series called El Hazard the Wanderers, which I believe is around 24 episodes long.
Mm-hmm.
There's El Hazard the Magnificent World 2, which is a sequel, and El Hazard the Alternative World, which is another sequel. But we'll just be covering El Hazard the Magnificent World. So, what is El Hazard the Magnificent World? Well, like most isekai, it starts with a young lad, very normal lad, who may have achieved a few things in his life, but is generally very relatable. And something magical happens to him, and he meets a girl called Ifurita in mystical ruins beneath his skull. And Ifurita seems to know Makoto, even though he doesn't know her, and is obviously in love with him, and he is very confused about it. And then Ifurita sends Makoto and a few other people that were at the school at the time into El Hazard, the Magnificent World. And then when they land there, they're in this magical fantasy land where they each get super special powers, and there's this conflict between the human civilization and the bug realm, which are big bug people. Look like this. And kind of the main plot around all of this is the humans have this super powerful Eye of God weapon from a long lost technological advanced civilization. And the human alliance wants to use that against the Bagrum, but the princess, who controls this Eye of God, does not want to use it, in part because it's essentially an orbital laser slash nuke, and in part because to control it, you need both princesses, but her sister is missing. And conveniently enough, Makoto, our protagonist, looks exactly like her sister, so he gets to dress up like the princess and pretend that he is a princess to maintain the alliance. And then during this conflict, there's a lot of political intrigue between other factions, and we're kind of gonna go more into detail as we cover each character, what's actually going on. But to start with, let's talk about impressions. So, Carnival, how did you like this overall?
I liked it for the most part, except for I feel like you probably could have cut it one up just because of the harem nonsense that ends up coming out of there and just completely takes the pacing, especially of like the first half of the series.
So I think there was a lot of filler, even though it was an OVA.
Yes.
I want to say you, Tia Call.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Carnival that it's a little slow to get its start. What it is, it's primarily a comedy. Like if you've seen Tenchi Muyo, it's kind of in the same vein of silliness. That it's not something that you'll enjoy if you try and take it too seriously. It kind of leans into its cheese a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's very good for what it is.
What do you think, Torpid?
I actually, honestly, I quite enjoy it. It's definitely rough around the edges, and yet the harem shit's weird too because the main character's focus is very like laser guided. There is one person he is in it for, and that's it. But overall, I think it's pretty solid. It's a fun watch. Is kind of my takeaway from it. It's fun.
Yeah, I was kind of so-and-so about it at the start, especially because it starts off with filler. It kind of got annoying because it felt that even though it only had 6 episodes, it wasn't really going anywhere, and it was like this weird tonal shift whenever there was filler. But somewhere around the middle, they kind of remembered they had a plot and kind of latched onto it, and it got a bit more better.
I mean,
yeah.
It helps that it's around midway through they finally get like their full cast, and it is a very character-driven show. Like that's where pretty much everything comes from is the characters themselves.
Yeah, I agree. It does kind of feel like, because it's so character-driven, some of the characters feel so meaningless because they don't get enough screen time.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's its biggest flaw is that there are some characters that just get actively ignored in the plot. The majority.
But speaking about the plot, so how did you feel the actual, like, let's put beside the characters and it's character focused, did you enjoy the actual plot, like specifically how we have this 3-way political slash war intrigue between the Bugram, the humans, and the Phantom Tribe, which is this weird left field player, and whose motivations aren't really clear until the very, very end. Like, how do you feel about that, Tia?
I always think it's interesting when a country like Japan takes on the idea of, well, what if there were nukes? I always think is historically the only country that has been subject to them, to see how they deal with it. And I think it's interesting that initially the characters, especially the Alliance, are all gung-ho for using this giant space laser because they're all, it's the only thing that'll protect us, and then they use it, and it's kind of like, you sure you really want to do that? And they kind of have second thoughts about it. And I kind of feel like that has a bit of a mirror in real life with what happened during World War II.
Yeah, it does feel like none of them are actually aware of how much it'll mess up the entire planet. Like, they even say in the actual show that they've never used the Eye of God, and when it was, or that they used it only once, and the results were like super, super destructive.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that this brought up more of a question for me about the history of this, because it seems like how much had the Bugram actually came on to invade before any of them showed up? Because clearly they were at end still, but they did seem to become the effective and terrifying threat until Jinnai showed up and started commanding them. So I was wondering what the necessity of the Eye of God's use really was beforehand.
It's a deterrent.
Yeah, I kind of think that it wasn't necessarily that they, and then that, what Torpa said, they wanted to deter them rather than they were actively invading before Jinnai.
Yeah, it seems like the Bagram were more like just spreading, and they were like, oh, we have to suppress them. And then Jinnai came and basically went, oh, I can like put you all in line and become a master general, and he took over a lot of areas, and then he went, oh, we need something more. How about we find the most destructive thing we can think of? And lo and behold, he goes to awaken the demon Destructinator. Aside from that,
I've seen this history before. It's called the Cold War.
yeah.
They even state, like, offhandedly early on, like, that it is basically what's helped them reach the level of power they have, the people of El Hazard, is because they have that giant, powerful deterrent keeping other countries at bay.
I mean, yeah, that is basically, like, I don't actually know, like, whether El Hazard is the planet or, like, El Hazard is the actual, like, kingdom. I can't remember that part. But yeah, that main kingdom that has the Eye of God, they're basically kind of like the leaders of the Alliance because of that. So how did you all like the fight scenes? Like, Torpid, you seem like an action-oriented person.
I mean, I enjoyed them. Shayla was probably the most fun one to watch because of the fire, but it was all pretty enjoyable overall. It wasn't anything really to write home about, but it was fun.
What about you, Carnival?
I guess they were enjoyable, but I can't really say any of them were particularly memorable.
And you, Tia?
I really like the colors that they chose to use for Shayla. Shayla's kind of, it was almost butterfly-esque the way they used her fire. I kind of feel like the fight scenes weren't necessarily their focus, because you could see in some of the off frames, and for the ones that weren't the key frames, the animation gets a little kind of rough and janky at times, even in the fight scenes.
Yeah, it feels like, in general, the fight scenes, aside from, I think the most impressive one was probably when they fight Ifurita, but whenever they're fighting the Bugram or the Phantom Tribe, it all seems to be very much, oh, we need a fight to resolve this, so we just kind of like have a very quick fight and magical girl power-up transformation thing.
That's the other thing is like the wind user barely gets any screen time anyway with her abilities.
Yeah. She seems to be pretty
Afro
strong.
is really just kind of there.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that, because it seems a lot of characters are just simply, there, which seems to be the biggest problem with the series' current format.
It's the problem of having too many characters with too little time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be fair, if you wanted to learn more about the characters, you did have a lot of fan servicey filler. I feel like that was the most screen time some of the characters got.
Yeah. There was a lot of nip in the fucking hot spring episode.
Ah, yes.
I feel like it's about in your typical 90s anime in terms of fan service, and it feels really tame compared to some of the stuff that goes on today.
Oh, definitely. I actually personally thought it was hilarious that how they kind of went into the Hot Springs episode, because to give everybody context, they're trying to find these priestesses, the Muldon priestesses, so they can help them with the Eye of God, because the princess that Makoto is impersonating isn't there, so they can't actually use it. And two of the priestesses basically go, oh, we don't have time for you. Yeah?
Real quick, it's not that they needed the priestesses because Makoto couldn't use the eye, it's because they needed the priestesses to unseal the eye, so the princesses could then access the eye.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, they went on a hunt to find the priestesses, and the priestesses, where they met them, and the priestesses were like, well, that's fine, but we don't have time, bye-bye, we're off to go to our purification ritual. And then the cast... Yeah, go on.
I was saying, see, that pissed me off the most, because, like, you're supposed to lead with the whole, we're about to unseal the nukes. We're gonna skip the purification, we need to unseal the nukes. So the fact that they just didn't open up with just saying, we're doing this, kind of really got on my nerves. Because it's, like, this is extending things unnecessarily.
Yeah, and to make it all worse, they then try to find those priestesses and where they're conducting their purification ritual, and it's this massive, like it's basically a fast forward, but you see that they have this massive trip through the desert, and it's really hard to reach that place. And then the people that were guiding them told them, "Oh yeah, we can't go any further if we value our lives." It's like this full buildup of this sacred hidden ground.
Actually, they tried mugging them.
No, yes, but after they mugged the guides mugged them, and the guides still drove them a while after that, and then still did not want to go any further after they got into the desert. So it's like this weird buildup of like how perilous the journey is, and then you realize the purification ritual is just the entire all the priestesses basically going there to hot springs to take baths and a vacation. That's basically what it is.
It's girls' day out.
It's literally girls' day out.
Another thing that confused me real quick is at that spring, essentially an oasis, but it really confused me that there were other women there, as well as the priestesses, even though they only say that they're the 3 priestesses.
Well, I assume they were the 3 priestesses, but there were more priestesses in general. It's just like they are the 3 priestesses.
Poor Bigfoot.
Kind of assumed that it was a tourist spot and that the Mugger guys were avoiding it, possibly because it's a women-only tourist spot.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I read it as. Just this purification is just like a tax write-off scam thing.
Yeah.
They're saying we're going to write this as this is purification, but no, we're just going to have a vacation.
It even gets to the point where the two priestesses they met earlier that didn't want to talk to the main cast, when they arrive there, they have all of these like shopping bags because they went shopping on the way to the oasis. But yeah,
they were also like, oh, "Why the hell are you here?"
Yeah, no, it was pretty good, and also obviously because Makoto is impersonating Fatura, the other princess. Everybody thinks he's a girl in a girls only oasis, so you can assume what anime shenanigans happened there.
The wig came off.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they find out.
Yeah, spoiler, they find out, and then the tsundere redhead gets really upset and tries to kill Makoto. It's all very funny.
Sure.
But speaking of characters, let's cover them. So here's Makoto. If you 3 don't have the stream open, I picked basically the first moment you see Makoto in the series, because I feel this scene is really good to establish what kind of character he is. Because as soon as you see him here, you know this guy is the main character. He is a very special boy, and he is very, very relatable, but also very special. You just see it in his eyes.
I mean, in that scene, he's just getting strong-armed by the student council into fucking selling out his friend.
No, it's the reporter.
But his friend deserved it.
And it's also the school newspaper about to run a exposing expose on his corruption.
So Carnival, how did you like Makoto? Tell me your thoughts about this lovely protagonist.
He's a boring idiot. It's like you're only here because we need to fill a demographic kind of pull thing. Because you wouldn't get away with, this is the kind of protagonist that's going to safely assure earning from the higher ups the most easily.
Do you agree with that, Tia?
That's fair. He is very much. He's almost like the Deku to Isekai, and that he's very much the trope played straight. The most out of interesting thing about him, I guess, is the fact that he's so very fragile in his masculinity, where they ask him, we need you to dress up like the princess for a while to prevent an international crisis. And he's like, screw you guys, I'm not putting on a dress.
I mean, he literally falls asleep saying, I'm not a girl.
It's like, okay, if somebody told me that I had to go put on the clothes of, a princess and and just sit there for a couple of hours in the UN to prevent an international crisis, I'd be like, okay.
It's also really good because literally his first interaction with people is once again the newspaper crew. And they're trying to get him to sell out, and they basically say, they try to no-balls him, and he's like, I got balls the size of cantaloupes. And he gives in like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Do you think it was a blank slate, Torpid?
Oh, he is incredibly bland. He is your bog standard harem anime protagonist. The only difference is he made his choice right away and stuck to it, and you know what? At least he didn't waffle about on it. I can at least give him that, but otherwise he is very bland and very... Like, the anime even calls him out for being bland and generic. Like, at one point, Nanami, I think, says he has 0 personality, which is why he gets no ability.
So that's kind of true, because, as I said earlier, all the humans that ended up in the world of El-Hazar, they all got this special power. And everybody gets kind of very cool special powers, except Makoto. For the longest time, he does not have a single power, and he is super boring. And then he finally, they finally reveal his power, and he can basically awaken and access the tech from the ancient civilization, which, lo and behold, the main love interest slash being of destruction also falls under. So he has an extremely narrow, plot-oriented special boy ability. It's literally the ability of, like, oh, this will help, save the story ability.
Finally, you can fuck the witch robot.
We will get to that, please. Don't. There are many things to unpack when we talk about Ifurita. Well, yeah, I agree. I think he was, like, really boring. I did not like him at all. The only time he actually showed personality or conviction is what Tia said. He was super vocal about not wanting to dress as a princess. That was the most, like, personality he showed. Everything else was, what is the lawful good option? Okay, this, I will pick the lawful good option. He's like clicking the blue dialogue option every single time. Yeah. Anyway,
I appreciate that his ability wasn't combat oriented, because I feel like a lot of, like, especially the modern isekai, they tend to go in with these big showy, I'm the best in a fight and everything is a fight, so that main character wins all the time. This character, like, throws a punch. Like, his ability is talking and, like, not being a shitty human.
So it's funny you say that, because only one of the characters, the human crew, actually has a combat-oriented ability.
Yeah, but I feel like the other two have, like, very practical abilities, though. We're gonna say Tia?
I agree.
Ah.
Yeah, I think... I actually think that they did really well with the combat ability.
Yeah. We will get to him actually next, but one thing I also wanted to go, Makoto is so fragile that they actually had to give him a separate character. There's this cat, which I sadly did not take a screenshot of, but there's this cat, which belonged to the princess, Ura, which Makoto can wear like a vest, and the cat absorbs any damage, like bullets, swords, whatever, it doesn't matter. So, in case you were wondering that poor Makoto might get hurt in combat, no, that's also covered.
Also, Ura is low-key the best character.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Adorable.
Yes.
Adorable, but also good people.
It's, for some reason, was treated like shit by her original owner.
Of course.
We'll get to that character later, though.
Yeah, we will cover her a bit. But next up is Fujisawa Sensei, or Professor Fujisawa, if you want to localize it. So, Torpid, what do you think?
I fucking love Fujisawa. He's great. He is a very fun character. His abilities kind of rad, actually. And overall, he's a lot more perceptive than he seems, and he's actually very dedicated to being a teacher, and he cares about his students. And also...
Yeah, so that part cares about being a teacher. Just to elaborate, he is a chain smoker and alcoholic, and he does drink during work hours. But as far as what his power is, he has superhuman powers where he can like leap buildings, do martial arts, hit somebody super hard. He's basically Superman, except if he drinks, if he is like drunk, he loses his powers. And later on, you find out that if he stops smoking, he fully unlocks his potential. Anyway, continue, Torpid.
And I, as I said about being more perceptive, like there's another character who really wants to get with him, and he kind of just ignores her shit the entire time because he's more focused on helping out his students and just kind of doing what's right.
But he also doesn't seem like he's ready to get married.
Exactly. Like, literally at one point, they're in a fight, and she says, "Do you want to kiss me?" And he's like, "No, I'm more focused on fighting right now."
Do you like him, Carnival? Do you think he's a good role model?
Good role model. No, but I'm not a person who. The idea of role models is something I've gotten just very not fond of, just due to recent events. But he's a good character, and it's like at least in this someone who's at least paying attention compared to Makoto, who's like, no, I don't want to dress up, and it's like, you idiot! These are the only people that have been around who have helped us in this place. Resources and no way to call phone home. Why are you? You're a moron.
I mean, you say that, but they also had to make a Fujisawa isolation chamber, so he couldn't drink.
I'm actually surprised how quickly they caught on to what the secret of his powers was. How did you like him, Tia?
I think he's especially for sort of the older millennial generation. He's very relatable. He's not. There's a little bit of older tiredness to his character, which kind of ties into the whole he drinks and he smokes thing. This teacher's clearly seen some shit, and if you're a teacher, you've probably seen some shit. That he's got a clear vice. He drinks and he smokes, and that his powers are directly opposed to those vices. So it's almost shonen-esque in a way, in that his physical vices or his emotional vices unlocks his physical abilities. I like him. I really like what they did with his character. They actually gave him a bit of an emotional arc, which I feel like they didn't with the other characters nearly as well.
Yeah,
because he actually, he wants something. Primary focus is pretty modest. He just wants to get his students home and take care of them. But it kind of ends up into. I think the ending kind of implies that he actually does give up on smoking, like actually quits and starts really enjoying his life. And I think that's probably the most satisfying part of the ending, actually.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how they tied into his powers to his vices, and I like how they make it difficult for him. Because even though he knows, if I don't drink, and if like for the smoking part, he doesn't realize until the very end. But for the drinking part, he knows, if I don't drink, I'll have these powers, and that's good because I can protect people. But you really see it's hard for him to give up drinking. Like, other people have to actually intervene and help him do that, which I think is really good, rather than just him being like, oh, cool, I have superpowers now.
He's very definitely an alcoholic, and they don't really quite try to hide that.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else somebody wanted to add about Fujisawa that we didn't cover?
I mean, if we're gonna talk about that bit at the ending, yeah, I like that, because it's basically just, in the ending credits, they did various shots for the epilogue. And it was just him looking at, I assume it was to Mount Fuji, off in the distance.
Which is
with
weird.
Somebody else.
Which is weird because it's not implied that they come back to the real world.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because I thought the epilogue, those montages were... Well, should I save that for when we discuss the later parts, or just...
No, you can say it now.
But yeah, because since Ifurita gets sent back to cause a stable time loop, to send Makoto and the other three over there, I figured that the epilogue were just implanted memories that Makoto ended putting into Ifurita.
But you forget that Makoto had learned how to hop dimensions at the very end.
But he only came solo, so I figured he was just coming over to pick up Ifurita and then go back. Now that might be a discussion.
Yeah, it's unclear whether they stay in El Hazard willingly or unwillingly or at all at the end. I get the impression that they just chose to live there forever.
Yeah,
same.
Anyway, let's move on to the next character. Does anybody here like Nanami Jinnai? Torpa, do you like Nanami?
I mean, she doesn't really get as much screen time as honestly she deserves. She's pretty fun when she is on screen, and I kind of like the relationship with her brother, which is incredibly antagonistic. But I mean, I do find her ability interesting in the way that ties to her personality, because she was working with the journalism club and she was like trying to figure out these things and like uncover shit, and her ability being that she can see through illusions is pretty on point, actually.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I've actually never realized that that's because she's a journalist.
I don't even know that she was a journalist, because she mentions that the journalists were paying her to do the expose that she starts out. That's her introduction to the series, where she starts grilling her brother about, this big scandal that's brewing at their school. Seems to focus around money and she's very entrepreneuristic. Reminds me a little bit of the middle sibling in Ranma 1/2, whose name I can't recall. That was kind of was willing to bend ethics a little to earn money, and she's not quite that bad. She's perfectly fine with grilling her own brother on TV for money, but she doesn't do anything that's actually bad in the series, where it was in Ranma 1/2. But I like that she's not the typical door. Oh, I'm so sweet and innocent, and I'm so feminine, and she's really not.
Yeah, my one complaint about her would be that half of her screen time is about her basically fawning over Makoto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the life of a female character.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
Yeah, she's one of three characters who is madly in love, or trying to fall for Makoto. But outside of that, I felt she was very, she's definitely a survivor. She falls into this world, and she doesn't enter the world together with Makoto and Fujisawa. She ends up in the desert, and she essentially gets a job, earns money just to get the hell out of there. So she's pretty much a survivor, and at any point you see that she kind of has an idea what she needs to do to survive.
She even starts her own little, at one point she even mentions that she earned enough money to start her own business, that being delivering lunches to the hot spring.
Yeah. Also,
and they haven't been there for that long either.
Yeah.
It could have only been a month at most.
Yeah, I think it was around a month. And also her special power is she can see through the illusions of the Phantom Tribe, and we'll get to the Phantom Tribe later, but just to essentially explain to you, they look like dark elves. I guess that's the closest way to describe them. But they have these illusion powers that mask them and make them pass off as human. And she has this weird ability where she can immediately tell, regardless of illusion. She can see through their masks, but she can also just, if they cast an illusion, which is a massive fog or a wall or whatever, she can immediately see through that. It just doesn't affect her.
She doesn't even actually realize the illusions are there. So, like, when they're approached by one of the fan tribe members who's come there to kill Makoto, she's like, "Oh, you're so pretty. I love your blue skin." And everybody's like, "What?" And she's like, "What?"
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite is at one point she's like, "Wow, it's so cute that you're marrying a member of the Phantom Tribe," and everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that was a pretty good moment, because the fiance of the princess, one of the two princesses, is from the Phantom Tribe, and nobody actually knew that until she came over and just said it. Do you like her carnival? What do you think about Nanami?
Again, I think she's probably the character that suffers the most from the compressedness of the series in terms of getting time to either develop and do things on screen. So it'd be probably would like have more attention put on, because her and her brother honestly seem like the two characters that honestly benefited the most out of coming to El Hazard.
Yeah, I can see that. So before we move on, I just want to say thank you, Mebbles and Lance, for the subscriptions, and thank you, Narusaus, for the follow and cheer. Now we're gonna move on. Speaking of Nanami's brother, we're gonna move to her brother Jinnai, who is the most developed character, but also, like, at some points just has weird developments as well. Like, I have a lot of opinions about him, but I want to hear somebody else talk about him first. So Tia, how did you like Jinnai? Because you have to like him.
Oh no, Tia's muted.
Oh no, Tia.
Can't believe it.
She doesn't want to talk about Jinnai.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to
No, it's fine.
shut the door. Jinnai is very much the card-carrying villain of the series. He's fun to hate. Like, that's his whole thing. You're never supposed to, like, sympathize with him. You're supposed to enjoy him for being this utterly ham-fisted villain that he is. Like, everything about him is ridiculous. He's really enjoyable, if you realize it. He's very much the villain you're not supposed to ever like. He's not redeemable.
Jin.
Deep and complex. He's basically an asshole.
Yeah, he's one massive douche canoe. So Jinnai in the real world was Makoto's rival, or rather, Makoto was Jinnai's rival because the feeling wasn't really mutual. I don't think Makoto ever actually felt like him and Jinnai weren't friends or anything. But Jinnai absolutely hated Makoto, and there's like this weird montage where Makoto keeps doing these little things to one-up Jinnai. Like, he's always one. Like if Jinnai is second in the race, Makoto is like first. If Jinnai was 11th on the tests, like on the top list, Makoto is 10th. It's always like one-upping Jinnai. And then Jinnai... Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, that's the other thing too, is it's not even like Makoto like one-upping Jinnai. Jinnai was in the middle of a horrible fucking breakdown because everything he built up was crumbling around him. And he latched on to this idea of Makoto being just better than him at every turn despite him.
Yes. And then when they landed in El Hazard, Jinnai landed in the Bagram territory, and his special power was that he can understand the Bagram and talk to them. And because he is so, like, ridiculously evil, he just becomes their general. Like, and he's not like, oh, like, I'm the slapstick villain general. He actually becomes ridiculously effective, takes, like, entire territories with his army, gets medals for it from the Queen of Bagram. It's just, he's super good at his job, except, when he isn't, and when he decides to dig a hole for the protagonists to fall into on their way to the mountain.
I kind of get the impression that it's not so much that Jinnai is hyper competent when he goes on his conquering spree. It's just that the other countries he's conquering are probably about as incompetent as he is, because he's not actually doing anything particularly special. It's just like the most clever thing he does is he goes, "Oh, I'm going to the Forbidden Island to go summon the demon god Ifurita," and all the good guys go, "Oh my god, we must go to the Forbidden Island right now and stop him." And then they get there and they're like, "He's not here," and he's like, "Suckers, I just followed you here."
Yeah, because he didn't know where it was. But that's the thing. Like, even if it's by comparison, he is like extremely competent in that world. Like, he even does manage to get to Frida first and take control of her, and set her loose. Like, he's doing a really good job for himself.
Actually, he didn't get to her first. It's Makoto got to her first, but he knew to bring men with him, and he strong-armed Makoto.
Yes.
See, I see it as it's not so much that he's incompetent, it's that he's trying too hard because of the presence of Makoto. Because clearly, when he didn't know that the others were there, he's just basically just doing a great Zerg rush of all the towns just because he doesn't have the pressure he's putting on himself that he puts himself under because of Makoto.
Yeah. Like,
He's better at large-scale tactics.
That too.
I don't know. He reminds me. He reminds me a lot like he's like a prototype Yagami Light in the sense of he got into power and immediately it's not that the power corrupts him; it just exposes his worst characteristics, and he just becomes even more evil than he was in high school. Because he's very, very much like destroy everything, take over everything, and all that jazz.
I mean,
He's a
he is war
megalomaniac.
criminal.
That's why.
But yeah, I feel like I could talk about Jinnai the entire day, but does anybody else want to say something we didn't?
I mean, I never even got to voice my opinion.
Oh, I thought you did. Sorry.
No, I was just interjecting here and there, but I fucking love Jinnai. I love Jinnai so very much with all of my being. He's deeply relatable to me in particular.
Oh, okay. So you're the megalomaniac that would take over.
No, I'm just a raging asshole. But I like him as a character. He's a lot of fun as a character. He does care about his troops, even naming a bunch of them after the Marx Brothers, which in my notes is the best joke I wrote the entire time, which is the Marx Buggers. Thank you. And like even at one point, he's worried that they might have died in this big problem, but no, they were alive, and he was actually super happy to see them.
Yeah.
But I think he's a lot of fun as a character, and his laugh, at least in the dub, is fucking incredible. To the point where
it's very good in the Japanese original too.
They just go to town.
It's to the point where I started counting his laughs, and I think I capped out about 20. Just because it amused me enough.
His laugh is so good, you could use it as a follow notification on your streams if you wanted to.
It's so good. It's such a good laugh.
But yeah, it's weird because like Tia said, he's not a character you're meant to like, but he is so ham that at least he's like charming with how ham he is, even if he is absolutely deplorable as a human being.
He's just so full of personality, you can't help but love him.
I mean, especially as opposed to Makoto, which is just like this milquetoast anime protagonist.
I mean, yeah, literally the way the anime starts is that at one point he is chasing down Makoto with a rope so he can tie him up so he cannot talk about his crimes. So he'll stay president.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure.
So, well, rather the next set of characters. So, the Moldon priestesses that we mentioned earlier, Shyla, which is in the middle, the hot-blooded redhead, Aframan, which is the wind priestess on the right, and Ms. Mishtal, the water priestess, aka the eldest, aka I need to get married, I'm so old, I need to find a man, character.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to go first? Carnival, you want to go first?
I'll be honest, I completely didn't remember the Wind Priestess name because that's how little she actually has character on screen.
Yeah, Yeah, she is practically non-existent. The only purpose I've seen her have is to give Ifurita a new attack.
Like her one big shining moment where she's the main character for a little bit was that she lost to Ifurita. Like she got her ass kicked. And in a particularly stupid way, too, because Ifurita has literally just said, by absorbing your attacks and then using them against you, and she's just seen Ifurita do this twice, and what she do? She attacks, like, straight up, just gives her best attack. Ifurita absorbs it, turns it back on her, and is like, what did you expect?
Yeah, like, the only thing I've seen her do is basically be fire support in fights. That's it. Like, she doesn't... Like, I don't even know what she likes. I don't even know her favorite meal.
She also helped the fly away to the Oasis. And her other big scene, after getting fucked up by Ifurita, is being... recovering in bed and then getting attacked by the thirstiest fucking character in the entire show, asking where Shayla is.
Oh god, we'll get to her later.
Yeah, I kind of get the impression that Afro is supposed to be sort of like the straight man to everybody else's funny man, but she doesn't really get time. Like the other characters are just so larger than life and ridiculous and out there. She doesn't really get really foil against each other.
Yeah,
it's sort of like, you know, a Rakugo where the funny man's making the jokes all the time, and the straight man doesn't actually say anything, and so it's entirely one-sided.
Yeah, especially because Shyla is, like you said, so larger than life. She's super violent, super hot-blooded. Absolutely hates Makoto until Makoto saves her life, and then she absolutely falls for Makoto, but then is very angry because Makoto doesn't love her back. But I don't know, what did Torpid? Did you like any of the three priestesses?
I think Shayla's a lot of fun when she's not fawning over Makoto, though her getting drunk with the teacher was always a lot of fun. Despite him constantly telling her she shouldn't be drinking because she's technically a minor. And then also that gets me into another thing about the priestesses is I actually really like that the magic in the series is actually just incredibly advanced technology from the old civilization. Like all of it, everything they use, if you notice, they use their tech, like one slotting in her belt, the other using her ring, and Shayla just letting it rip with her fucking gauntlet.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular like trope, I think, from like that era. That you have like you see it in games a lot, like the super old ancient civilization that's just considered magic in the contemporary time.
Yeah, I mean, I still appreciate it, though. It's pretty neat because like they always just say it's magic, and they never really draw that much attention to it, aside from the very obvious technological stuff like the Eye of God.
Yeah,
but I also like Mies, the Water Priestess. She's got her moments. She's definitely got problems with her personality, but when she's actually like getting shit done, she's pretty enjoyable. I also did find it amusing her trying to get Fujisawa to feel bad for her when she was injured, despite having fully recovered.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, I kind of love how she's all, oh, I need a strong man to help me or to get married, not to help me. And then when she is in the hot springs and it looks like this weird animal-like thing is attacking her, but actually it's like her servant, friend, whatever. And Fujisawa swoops in and punches that animal, and then says, "Oh, I've saved you from that beast." And instead of Mishtal going like, "Oh no, you hit my friend," she's like, "Oh no, thank you for saving me," and she's like immediately falls for him. And then when she learns that he's a teacher, she's like, "Oh, you have a government job. That's even better."
Security, yeah, that was her thing with security.
She doesn't like him because he's superhuman. She likes him because he has a stable government income.
But also because he kicks ass. He's incredibly strong, and she fawns over that at points. But also, rest in peace, Bigfoot.
I do think it's obvious that she falls for him immediately, but also because she was actively looking. But I think she ends up kind of liking him in general. It's just some of those scenes are a bit too much.
Yeah.
That's one place where El Hazard really could have benefited from, and I don't remember if the longer series goes into it, but developing that romance between these two adults would have been a really interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, definitely. What's your take, Carnival?
Like I said, that's basic. After that was probably just it. Is just the whole okay. We're gonna do this fake thing again. Okay, that was kind of some of those parts where I kind of just checked out because like okay, I've seen this happen before, and more of just like okay, this is filler, and I want to move on with the plot. Though I do appreciate both the drinking scene and the whole oh, huh. You realize they come from another world. They're not getting another stable income. I guess technically.
Yeah, but as a teacher, he has the mentality of a teacher, and obviously he's going to be a teacher in this world as well.
Yeah, no. They're on the front lines. You have the sewer power, we're gonna put you on the front line.
I mean, never forget that the whole reason Fujisawa got caught up in the teleportation is because he was getting trashed on night duty.
Yeah, because he was, the people who were transported to El Hazard were basically all the people who were in the school late in the evening, and that happened to be Fujisawa, Nanami, Makoto, and Jinnai. Anyway, Carnival mentioned filler, and I don't think we can talk about filler in this show without talking about Alielle, I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Alielle, it's how it's said in the dub at least.
Oh boy, who wants to start? I'm taking volunteers.
You know, of all the characters to be vindicated by history, I did not expect it to be her. Because she is, at least in my experience with lesbian Twitter, this is basically her. And it is, as an actual character.
She is basically the representation in this series for horny on main.
Yeah, she is the Thirstmaster Supreme. Like, holy shit. Literally, the ending theme is her singing about girls and how she wants to bone them.
Like, I'll be honest, when I was preparing these stills for the podcast, I completely forgot about this character, and then I just saw her in one scene, and I was like, holy shit, I forgot she exists.
How?
So, that's another thing about this show that I find weird, is, like, there's representation, like in this case, she's very, very, very gay and horny on main. And it's like, it never judges her for that, she's just a bad character?
Yeah, like, I think I forgot about her because, like, I generally kind of remember the plot of this series as in, like, things that happened. And I don't remember her doing anything. Like, other than being horny.
She's mostly there to be comedy relief. Like she's just horny at all fucking times. Holy shit.
So,
like, she never breaks character even for a fucking second.
So,
literally, her first interaction with Makoto is her creeping into Makoto's bed because she thought he was the princess and trying to make a move on him until she reached down his pants.
Was about to say, yeah, that's how we got introduced to this character if people were wondering just how horny this is.
But for 1995, this is actually really progressive. I imagine that there are a lot of like gays around my age that watch this and were kind of like, holy shit, she's like actually lesbian on screen.
Aggressively lesbian on screen. Holy shit.
I think it's implied, but it might be like confirmed in like one of the retellings that Fatara, the Princess Makoto is impersonating, is also full-on lesbian.
Yeah, yes. No, it's stated outright.
It is? Okay.
Like, the most understated but best joke in the show is that once they've rescued Fatara, she's talking to Alielle about asking, oh, so were you faithful? And then she, like, under her breath, he says, even the redhead?
And the redhead's like, nope, didn't touch her.
Yeah, I don't know, I get it. It's good. It's good that there is representation, but like, like this basically of like all the fan servicey moments, she was the catalyst for like 70% of them, and I just did not care about her.
I think she's a lot more enjoyable if, like, Jinnai, you don't expect too much out of her. Like, she's clearly she's not so much a character as she is just straight up horny on main. And if you just appreciate that El Hazard put horny on main in an anime from 1995, then you'll enjoy her. Like,
Yeah.
if you actually expect her to like have character development,
I
No,
mean,
she's always there for
she's
comedy
a
relief.
side character in a episode anime. It's not expecting a lot.
yeah, I mean, she almost feels like I don't mean this in a rude way, but like how all the animes like in that era have this like weird mascot animal character, and you'd expect like the cat to be that in this show, but no, it's actually her. She's the mascot.
Yeah, literally the ending theme is her singing about the girl she wants to bone. Like, that is the entire ending theme, and it ends with a shot of her with her harem. Like,
We're not joking.
Yeah, no, this is
like
this is
once
literal.
again, as I said before, of all the characters to be vindicated by history, I did not expect it to be her.
Anyway, let's continue. I think I think everybody understands. Yes, she is very horny, and she's very lesbian in the mid-90s, and that's okay. That's okay in any era. But let's talk about the Phantom Tribe. This isn't more like a character as much as the entire faction. So the Phantom Tribe is essentially, like I said, these kind of like dark elf style character like faction basically work in secret, and they have kidnapped Farah, the princess, and they're trying to use the Eye of God and activate it to like. Initially, it's not clear why. You assume they just want to like destroy everything or rule the world, and they kind of try and intervene when Ifurita gets free. They kind of try to blindside various factions and capitalize on uh, the conflict. But then you realize near the end, like they tell you, that actually whenever the Eye of God is used, it kind of opens this interdimensional portal, which is what the thing was that kind of is implied pulled Makoto and co into El Hazard, and the entire Phantom Tribe is actually the people who were pulled into El Hazard many, many years ago, and they were essentially exiled by the inhabitants there because of the way they look.
Yeah, their entire reason for revenge is they just wanted to destroy they wanted the destruction of the Eye of God, and also for to destroy the people who use it, because it basically tore them out of their home and forced them into this dimension where they proceeded to get shit on by all the other people and were forced underground because of it. Like, actually, they're kind of justified, even if they're not correct. Like,
Yeah,
they have reasons that make sense for being pissed about this fucking doomsday weapon.
Yeah, but then now that the fact that but then this brings up the interesting question for me of I'm like, okay, so does that mean that the whole that their entire species has the whole illusion ability as their thing of getting translated into El Hazard, or did they figure that out with their science? Because then that brings up very questions on the nature of where do these powers come from?
I think it's like implied that it's the process of like traveling through dimensions that causes this, or it's something with how the world of El Hazard reacts to outsiders. Because even though they're like good at technological research, and you see that they figure out, like they basically brute force how to use the Eye of God, it does seem that their illusion powers are inherent, and I think it is the implication that's what they got for being transported to El Hazard.
Also, yeah, so the Eye of God itself is basically a black hole cannon that launches these things that kind of... It's all really bullshit dimensional magic. And when you said it's implied that that's how they got there, it's actually stated outright that the magic used to get there is based on the Eye of God's magic, because it was used on a specific character.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they said that they got pulled in during El Hazard's last holy war. Like they straight up said that, and it was kind of what was kind of implied to me is that they do want to blow up El Hazard for continuing to make the same mistakes that they've caused other people to suffer, but also they kind of want to go home. Yeah. Like if the Eye of God starts going off, they can cross dimensions again, and actually that's sort of why Makoto is interested in it in the first place. Because he realizes fairly early on that this doomsday weapon may be powerful enough to rip a hole in time and space, and maybe that's how they got here. Or how they can get back, rather.
Yeah, it feels like compared to the Bagram, which are just this like force of nature that's expanding, the Phantom Tribe feels like it's more interesting in its motivations, and like Torpid said, kind of not really justified, but it's, they have a reason to be pissed. Anyone else want to add something, Carnival?
It always just brings up the question here, just how much, because I just start wondering, I'm just like, if they were able to infiltrate the royalty at this point, why is it taking them this long for specifically to get to the Eye of God, I guess?
I think it's because the research to how to use it was just taking so long, because at one point, like they basically kidnapped the princess so they could research how to use the Eye of God, like what powers does she have and how does that entire thing work.
Spiritual genes.
Something like that, but it is
they say spiritual genes are why the princesses can actually activate the Eye of God.
Oh, okay.
But see, that just makes my question of just then, why hadn't they, at an earlier point, because if they've been there since the First Holy War, why hadn't they, when they learned to turn invisible, just infiltrate the royal family thousands of years ago?
Because they were probably trying to survive.
True. This is me thinking probably.
The bigger question, though.
Like Gallus's personal mission, as well as, the Phantom Tribe as a whole, which we get the impression from, there aren't very many around of them anymore. We only see like 3 of them, or actually a few like extras in the researchers. But like we're given a total of 3 that are actually named to work with, and one of them dies like pretty early on.
Yeah, the one picture.
So, Carnival. Actually, one thing quick. If you want something to think about, though, it's how did Gallus infiltrate the palace and become the betrothed to the princess? Did nobody vet this man?
Yeah, that's my question. If it was that easy the first time, why did they just marry into the family, the royal line, and didn't just have control that way?
I'm
kind of the opinion that he probably killed someone and took their place.
Yes, that's
like
what I'm
somebody
getting.
that was already a noble, and he just killed him, took over, and he'd been doing this for years by the time he got betrothed to the princess. So nobody had any reason at that point to suspect anything.
Yes, I was about to say, like, there is one scene where he's, like, sitting on a throne in, like, one of the human kingdoms, and I think it's implied that he took that spot, like, he killed whoever was actually there. Because he looks drastically... It's not like that his human form and his phantom form are basically the same thing, just recolored. He looks, like, pretty different in his phantom form.
Really should have kept the human hair.
Yeah. So, before we move on from the Phantom Tribe, are we gonna address how extremely creepy the head honcho of the Phantom Tribe is towards the extremely underage Phantom Sorcerer Mage?
Yeah,
is he?
Dude, he practically kissed him.
I don't know. I guess the dub makes it less skeevy.
Yeah, that might have been it because I was watching
It seems more like a familial thing in the dub, but yeah.
No, in the at least for me in the Japanese one, it looked like very, very. Please no, stop. I may have misinterpreted it, but it looked like a good note.
No, I agree. It's a little on the side of it where the younger character is very much clearly almost hero worshipping, but like literally would lay his life down for him. Possibly wants to get into bed with him. Let's not go there.
Yeah.
Also, one thing quick before we move on is I do appreciate this scene, this character in this scene, Because this is during the hot spring episode, and she's appearing as some stacked blonde lady, and it's great because she goes out to shake their hand, and then they show her actually it's just this knife handshake, like fucking gonna shake hands with the knife.
Yeah. It was a good scene. And also very brutal because she just gets instantly killed. Like she gets vaporized.
You don't fuck with the priestesses.
Anyway, let's cover. We're gonna cover the last character that I want to talk about, and that is Ifurita.
Actually, what was the last?
So Tia, what can you tell us about Ifurita? What can you tell the audience?
One of my favorite things about Ifurita, she's basically this demon god that gets summoned to. Basically, she was present in the Holy Wars, implied to have caused quite a bit of destruction herself. Was basically built to be a weapon. But when Jinnai resurrects her, it's kind of clear that she does have some degree a will of her own because she is very contemptuous towards Jinnai. Like, does not respect him at all one bit, even though he is the master of the staff and she has to follow his orders. She does not do so willingly and is quite willing to call him out as an idiot. She gets released from the programming that says that she has to obey the master of the staff, and Makoto's all like, "You're free," and Jinnai's like, "You can't be free. You have to listen to me." And she basically like backhands him without even looking at him, and she's like, "Hey, that worked. This is awesome." And that's like one of the best moments. It's just that casual backhanded wham of Jinnai.
Yeah.
Also, in the little memory clips that they do of her with her in the school, her with the little bows in her hair, that is super cute.
Yeah.
I really like that bit, but yeah.
Yeah. No, you can take it over, Torpid. Do you want to say something?
Oh no, I was gonna wait until I have to say everything I can about Ifurita.
Well, Tia, can we pass it to Torpid?
Go ahead.
Yep. Go ahead, Torpid. Your mic.
Okay, first off, I hate her fucking name because it's clearly Ifrit, but Japanese. That said, I do really enjoy her as a character, and I enjoy the whole I enjoy the romance that ends up happening between her and Makoto just because of their interactions, and basically because Makoto's ability to interface with machines helps her basically realize her sense of self and what she wants. Eventually, he's able to break the what compels her to work for other people. And it's such a huge thing for her, and it's really nice. And then, what was it? At one point, because she kept calling her these different things, and also just was really stupid to the point where in my notes I just gave her progressively more adjectives every time I referred to her. And I think I finished out with conflicted, sad, lovesick, hot, copycat, emotionless, heartless, wind-up, invincible, demon, robot, witch.
I think that's a nice summary of her.
Yeah. But yeah, basically she's got she's tragic past used as a weapon, very sad. And so Makoto is actually able to give her hope, and that's actually the entire point of the breaking the compulsion thing is she can finally have hope. And that's where she was falling for him the entire time because of their interactions, because they were basically mingling memories together, in conversing through his interactions, and then eventually it leads to her sacrificing herself, so to speak, at the very end, to the Eye of God, so she can stop it. Because every spell used against her, she can then replicate. So dimensional magic used against her, she is then able to replicate later on when she comes back to Earth, and it's what she uses to transport everyone.
Yeah.
After hopping dimensions for like 10,000 years.
Yeah. So essentially, you see Frida at the start, and she's the one who sent Makoto and everybody to El Hazard, and then at the end, you see that the reason she came to Earth and transported everybody was because she sacrificed herself to the Eye of God, and that's what got her there, ergo creating a stable time loop.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling romance, so it feels a bit weird at points, but it's very heartwarming, especially because she knows she's going to be gone for a long time, and Makoto, who's holding the staff, is interfacing with her, and basically she says she has nothing good, like she has no good memories. So Makoto gives her all of his memories with her in them, and it's actually incredibly cute.
So I'm gonna go back to that when it's my turn, but like Carnival, what's your take?
I mean, I definitely enjoy, and romance is not my. It's like I'm glad it's done. Okay, good. We're getting to the point, and it's not. It's focused. The plot is focused on this, where it's not dragging it, or it's like it feels like it's something that was designed from the start, and not just this is tacked on and to be added on. Though I really don't really have much Ifrit as a character, because the memory thing is more what I kind of want to talk about. So I'll hold off till when we get to that.
No, this is where we're at. I wanted to talk about that too, so go ahead. Everything you're free related is now.
Okay, so well, yes, I feel that it's like the whole of re-implanting the memories that with him and her together. It feels weird to me. It just the memory manipulation like that definitely
To be
feels like a
fair, it's what she wanted.
So,
yes.
so I have a really big problem with that because I don't know how to interpret this because it's very weird to me. Because she gets implanted with memories, and she's happy to have fake memories because they're real to her. But they're not like. But it's very hard to like draw for me. Like, is she happy because of the memories that are happy? Like, are they the things that make her basically fall for Makoto, like change personality and stuff like that? Like, it's obviously the memories being implanted into her, but it's also like very weird because like it changes her personality. Like to me, it wasn't like, oh, she had a tragic past, so we're gonna replace that past with something good. It's kind of like, no, she's literally getting Makoto's memories and therefore changing her personality. And to me, even though it's better for her to be this nice person instead of this raging demon that destroys everything, it's kind of still weird that she gets this fake past and she's okay with it, and it's framed in a very this is okay thing. It's kind of like in Mario Odyssey when Mario mind controls things and people, and it's considered a good thing because it's Mario, you know.
Well, so the thing is, it's not like that came out of nowhere. Like she had been slowly changing because of her interactions with Makoto, and the melding of essentially the melding of their memories and their minds, and learning more and more about each other and being able to conversate with each other. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like that, like him completely overwriting her. It's more like her giving her something to dwell on while she's gonna be gone for all this time.
I got the impression, like, I don't think she ever, thought the memories were hers and that they actually happened. Like, I think she's aware, that this is not actually in my past. It's more of a nice thing of, this is how my life could have been if I was an ordinary human, and it's something nice for her to look at. And I think, I don't think, like Torpid said, she was already in the process of sort of, and I don't even think it's sort of that she was changing her personality, but that she was funnily allowing herself to be this person that she kind of always was. Like her memories, the way she's framed in her memories, and like her contempt for Jinnai, this one that wants to cause destruction on the entire world, I think kind of frames her as this person that doesn't actually like war and destruction and likes nice things. And then when she gets, these memories that have her inserted in them, it's sort of like, looking at art that makes you, appreciate nice things more. I don't think it was necessarily overriding her at any point.
I have one thing to say about that. Like, when we first meet her, she very clearly like, oh, you don't remember me to Makoto, which that might also just because the way the scene is framed, because time loop and everything. Because that first bit of like, clearly of her like not recognizing the implantation of the memories, which
She'd been completely dimension hopping for 10,000 years, like.
It's weird. Yeah, because it's also weird. Yeah, go ahead.
It's also like I have a certain frame of reference here that is maybe a little different, and it's basically dreams I've had where I live with a person for years on end and wake up and it didn't happen, but it's still like I remember all that. So it's like I can. It's the frame of reference I go into looking at these memories is like, it's not a thing that's real, but it's something you can appreciate, and the emotions are real.
Oh, so it's like me
Yeah,
when
that's what I think.
so it's like me when I have an argument with somebody in a dream and then I wake up and I'm pissed off at that person.
Yeah, now just imagine losing that person the second you wake up after being with them for years. Like, it's...
Yeah, I don't like it's because of this entire like time loop thing. There's also this weird moment where, like, Ifurita comes into the like Earth and she likes Makoto because of everything that had happened, which is about to happen in the series, but it had already happened for her. And then when Makoto meets Ifurita for the first time, he's like, "Oh, it's that like girl that was really nice to me and it recognized me." So he acts like he knows her, and he like kind of like forces himself and like tries to unlock her like personality and stuff like that. And it gets really weird where you wonder, would he be going the entire length if he hadn't met her before?
And I mean, yeah, it's a stable time loop. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is what ends up happening.
Yeah, I mean it's a happy ending. At the end, she sends Makoto back, and I think she just like literally walks out of the school like with very low power because she needs to be wound up with that rod.
With the staff, she's a wind-up robot.
Yeah, she's a wind-up robot, and she's like in low power, and then she sees Makoto, who looks older and more experienced, like kind of like not an illusion, but kind of projecting himself, and then taking her back to El Hazard. So it's kind of implied that in the meantime, Makoto learned how to dimension hop, and he came for her.
It was really heartwarming.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna wrap up this slowly, and I have a very special section prepared.
Oh God.
Which is called Isekai questions. Was that the no God because of the questions or the image?
The questions and the image, the royal throne.
Yeah. For those who don't know, the thing pictured is the royal toilet in the palace in El Hazard.
Which is at the end of a long hallway that, when Makoto goes to use it for the first time, is lined with about 20 handmaidens ready to help him out.
Exactly. And they all think he's a princess. Okay, so question time, and you don't have to dwell on this too long. It can be short answers. Would you mind ending up in El Hazard? Carnival, you first.
No.
No, you wouldn't mind being there.
No, I would not want to go there. The fact that you have the power system is not a one that can be like is a random system that isn't understandable by human means. No, there are too many variables to deal with in this.
Tia, would you like to live in El Hazard?
I would like to take Makoto's place, because if I ended up in the royal palace and they're like, we need you to dress up as the opposite sex for a couple of hours to stall an interstellar, to stop an international crisis, I'll be like, sign my gay ass the fuck up.
Torpid.
Fuck no. The reason for that is the crew in this show got insanely fucking lucky with everything they did. Jinnai ended up in a group of Bugram who he could communicate with, and then the rest of the crew happened to have someone who looked exactly like the fucking princess, so they got fucking swanky ass shit living in the palace and just being with all those people. But like, if you're just some Joe Schmo who's fucking got the rawest deal of ending up in this place, you are screwed. I mean, look at Nanami, who could barely make it, and the only reason she ended up like making it big is because she found her friends who were in with the royals.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would not like to go to this place. For many reasons, but most of what you said, like, I do not trust my luck enough to survive there. Next question. What do you think your superpower would be? We're gonna go the same circle. Carnival. If you ended up in a Hazard, which power would you get?
I have no idea. Again, rules don't seem to have. The rules are so personality based. It's like no one's a good judge of their own personality, and even then, Makoto getting the tech interfacing power isn't exactly makes the most sense unless you're gonna read it as just the time loop reaching back to just ensure its own existence.
I was gonna say I figured it was more like his fixation on Ifurita is what caused that to come into existence.
I think just because he's the main character. But okay, Carl, you're a poor judge of your character. But which power would you pick?
Shapeshifting.
Okay, cool. Tia, what would you go with?
Power would be whatever the plot dictates.
So you'd be the main character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of the characters have, their powers are specifically chosen to be convenient to the plot. Like, they needed a bruiser, so Professor Fujisawa got superhuman powers. They needed someone that, can break the Phantom Tribe's illusions, so they got Nanami. They needed someone to be the villain, so they got Jinnai, who speaks Bugram. But other than that, I don't really know, because like you said, it's not really their personalities in any way. So I think if we wanted to go the direction of it's diametrically opposed to your vices, I would be a superhuman whenever I wasn't depressed.
Nice. Well, not so nice, but yeah, that would make for probably an engaging character. But you, Torpid, what would you do? What would you get?
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. It's a difficult question.
Okay, you get to pick something then.
I mean, if I have to pick anything, I guess it would... kind of similar to Tia's, but basically the less emotional I am, the more powerful I become.
Okay, so everybody wants to be Fujisawa, but nobody drinks. Okay.
It's true, exactly. You got me.
Drinking in this economy?
I just don't like alcohol.
I don't know what again. I'd probably do something like along the lines of probably something strategy / tech oriented that's very niche. I don't know, something between Nanami and Makoto, probably. Okay, last question.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah?
I like the idea of being able to know where ancient tech is.
Oh, that would be good. Like an ancient tech radar. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I would go with that as well. That sounds cool. Tech sense, as they call it. Okay, last question. So, based on everything you've seen and everything we've talked about now, do you feel as a viewer that the group that ended up in El Hazard got a shit deal, or is this all framed as like massive wish fulfillment? Tia, you can go first.
For Jinnai, it's definitely wish fulfillment. Nanami, I don't feel like it would have made any difference either way, because she's kind of the kind of character that you could plop in any kind of setting and she's going to find a way to make it work. Fujisawa, I feel like definitely got the better end of the deal, if only because being in this world seems to have helped him work through some of the issues that he was clearly having with his alcoholism and his smoking. And Makoto have enough of a personality to say
Makoto gets
whether he
laid.
got a good deal or a bad deal. Was he happy in the original world?
Dick wet.
Carnival.
I would say that again, the Jinnai siblings definitely they end up getting wish fulfillment. Makoto is, by the sheer virtue of saying that he eventually gets back with Ifurita, I guess yes, a song that it technically is, but I don't feel like it has enough of a core of saying it's a wish fulfillment story for them to say yes, this is clearly a wish fulfillment.
Torpid?
I mean, for the main character, overall, yes. As it was said before, Jinnai gets to live his megalomaniacal dreams, which, good on him. Fucking shine on, you crazy diamond. But, And then his sister Nanami, as Tia said, you could just drop her in any setting and she'd be fine. She'd survive. She'd find a way. So I mean, she doesn't get a raw deal, but I mean, I wouldn't say she ends up amazing. She's kind of there. And then Fujisawa, yeah, he gets through his vices. Like, he gets through his problems, and it helps him come up. I would say overcome his alcoholism, but he definitely has like a better view on it. At least it seems like more control, I should say. And Makoto 100% wish fulfillment. He dick wet. He dick so wet.
Yeah, I can agree with most of that. I think it's generally wish fulfillment. I guess the only difference is the isekai I'm used to, or the stuff I've seen, it's usually like an extremely boring life or an extremely shitty life that gets upgraded, where everybody in this one seems to be kind of doing okay. Like, it's nothing major. Like, okay, Jinnai is gonna get like exposed and like not be class president, but like that's not like super tragic. Like, everybody kind of has like very minor problems, if any, and then they move to this place and it's kind of like, oh well, I guess like I'm one step above the social ladder now.
And yeah, like Jinnai has the sweet bug queen to fawn over him. But also, yeah, just in general, it's Makoto is, I don't even know. I'd say he's like the sort of character you can insert yourself into. Like, he's not even that kind of bland. It's just, yeah, in general, everyone, like, on a personal level, it is wish fulfillment, but, like, as an overall show, I wouldn't consider it that.
It's not really, like, like you said, like, the modern isekai is really more of a wish fulfillment thing for me. This one, not so much, simply because the characters really struggle. Like, nothing is really handed to them. They don't even know they have powers in the first place. They have to figure out how their powers work. And just because they have those powers doesn't mean that, everything is royally gifted to them. That apparently you get by virtue of looking like the princess. But even that's got its problems. And I feel like that's where some of the modern isekai kind of loses me, in that there's not really a conflict. There's not really, because it is wish fulfillment. It's just basically everything is easy. And in El Hazard, it's not. Nothing is really easy.
Reaching that spa is the most intense experience. Anything else we haven't mentioned that we'd like to cover before we end the show?
Yeah, with the Mike Live, the backgrounds in this are fucking gorgeous. Like, they are so good.
The art in this show is, yeah, extraordinary. Like, even, okay, we're looking at a toilet right now, but look at how nicely painted that toilet is. Like, that looks fucking great.
Like artistically, it is a very well realized world, and I appreciate that.
It has like really
when
good.
the series is on, it's on. Like, like you notice it, like, and it was kind of a bit of a thing in the 90s. Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Violinist of Hamelin, where because it was such a low budget production, it really doesn't have a lot of what the animation is. They reuse a lot of stock footage. They are very careful on not animating things when they don't have to. They make a lot of use of stills, but what they do, especially in like some of those stills, are beautiful. Like, they just look like watercolor paintings. And I kind of feel like this was a slightly higher budget version of that, in that we got animation all of the time, but when they, kind of stopped to do the shots, like the toilet, and just, zoomed in and zoomed out on that, and they didn't have to worry about animating characters, they really took the time to artistic pieces.
Yeah.
Also, it is vibrant. It is very vibrant.
Yeah,
like,
it reminds me a lot of like classic sci-fi covers, or like, old heavy metal covers. Like, when you have this like alien vista that has this weird sky and like weird hills and mountains and trees, and this show has a lot of those moments where you can basically make a wallpaper collection out of it, to be honest.
Yep. And yeah, it's very pretty. It's the colors and everything too are very nice. Like, even when the animation isn't on point, the colors are always really solid. And like, He mentioned earlier about the fire that Shayla uses, like that sort of the blue and pink, and it just looks really nice.
Yeah. Anything else we want to cover?
The dub is actually really fucking good. It is a fucking fantastic dub, to the point where, if memory serves, the director feels that the dub is the better version of El Hazard, The Magnificent World.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I can see that because when I was listening, I actually watched it subbed, and one of the things I noticed is that Makoto kind of has a weirdly low pitched voice. Like, he sounds a little too low pitched to be a high school boy.
He sounds
so
like a
it was a
teen
little
in the
weird.
dub, at least, which is nice.
Yeah, I watch the sub because I watch all my anime with subs, except
Fucking
FLCL.
nerd.
Okay, cool. Well, we can wrap this up there. So before we go, Carnival, where can people find you? Social
You
media.
can
Stuff
follow
like
me
that.
at Toku_Carnival. And that's really it at this point.
Kia, anything you'd like to plug?
I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/TiaCall. I stream on Fridays and working on Tuesdays. I stream mostly retro RPGs, random crap that I've got on my computer from the mid-1990s, kind of like this anime. And I'm also on Twitter as TiaCall as well.
Torpid, what about you?
I'm at Torpid Typist on Twitter if you want to just see me shitpost all goddamn day. And I stream at twitch.tv/Torpid Typist Monday through Thursday, 10, and then also on Thursday afternoon.
Alrighty, and you can find me
Whenever there's Crunchyroll anime.
Shut up.
You can find me on Twitter, .com/MDKII, that's MDK Roman numerals 2, or you can follow me on twitch.tv/RealSovietBear, where I stream 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Anyway, that's it for the first episode of Help, I've Died and Been Reincarnated as a Podcaster, or Isekai Book Club. And this is a monthly podcast, so we will catch you next month. Thank you all, and goodbye.